Stop borrowing money right now. I know it sounds crazy, but this one thing is probably killing your chances of becoming debt-free and living the life that you want. I used to do the same thing, following the same standard advice about money management. Result, a ton of debt and stressed out and worried. You know the feeling. But then I discovered something that changed everything. In just 2 short months, I helped a client to pay off about $3,000 in debt and save $2,000. And it wasn't by following the usual expert advice. What I'm about to share might go against everything you've heard, but I can prove that it works. I've got 3 unconventional strategies that help me as well as a client, and I'm going to break down exactly how you can do it too. Plus, I'll show you the #1 mistake that's keeping most people stuck. Let's dive in. I believe one of the biggest problems that people are facing when it comes to finances is they think that managing finances has to be complex. Talk about crypto, forex, day trading, all these things that some people don't understand. In fact, I met with a guy when I was speaking in North Carolina. He told me about a story about when he invested in cryptocurrency. And he told me how he invested in this person, and eventually his money was locked up. Like he couldn't get his money that he invested. And I don't know the turnaround, I don't know what happened after I left him. I forgot his money or not, but the whole point is people think that managing finance has to be so complex and convoluted that no one wants to do it, or that no one can do it. And you have people online saying, go day trade, understand that. Go do options, understand that. Go do forex. Those things are ways to make money, but they're also risky. When you have risk involved, it increases your chance of losing money. Now, risk is good, but if you don't know what you're doing, keep it simple. I recommend keeping things simple when it comes to managing your finances. Simple things like doing a money plan or budget. Everyone needs a money plan. You may not want to hear that, but everyone needs one. And also, you want to think about investing. If you want to invest, don't do forex if you don't understand it. Just do something simple, like maybe a mutual fund, or maybe just get a brokerage account and start small. But the whole point is, money management is simple. Keep it simple, not complex. The second thing I think people struggle with is following bad advice when it comes to personal finances. I did a video about Index Universal Life Insurance, IULs, and I got a lot of feedback about it because, in my opinion, IULs is a bad buy. Here's why. IULs, they attempt to combine investing and insurance. Well, there's a difference between the two. Insurance is to reduce risk. Say you have an ice storm, which we had not an ice storm, a snowstorm here recently in South Carolina, and say a tree fell in your car, which it happened about a year or so ago. Not my car, but someone else's car. And maybe that person didn't have car insurance, or if they did, it's good. But the whole point is to reduce the risk. Given the opportunity for the insurance company to cover that risk if something happens, the ice storm, that car accident, whatever kind of insurance you have, that event happened, and insurance hopefully covers that particular mishap. So it transfers risk from you to the insurance company. Investing is building wealth. Invest in a vehicle such as, say, mutual fund, put money in, it grows tax-free if you have a Roth IRA. So you put the money in and it grows. But an IUL attempts to do both. It attempts to reduce your risk, and it also attempts to build wealth. So with an IUL, you have a whole life insurance product supposed to provide life insurance for your loved one when you pass away. And also I think it has a cash value plan, a part of it, which is basically a savings account. So that's the insurance part of it. It's supposed to provide proceeds to your family. The part that's investing is, all right, it has a cap, so it doesn't lose money. If the market goes down, it doesn't lose money. But there's a cap on how much the fund can actually grow. So say if the cap is 8% on the IUL, but the market gets 10%, which is what it has averaged over the life that has been in the existing stock market, that is. So you lose not on 2% of growth in your investment. And IUL is attempting to investment vehicle plus insurance. I recommend keeping them separate. So again, people are pushing IULs, pushing things that aren't healthy for the consumers, but some people, they don't think for themselves. They don't ask questions, they don't inquire, they don't research things, they just go with what people tell them to do. That's not how you're supposed to live life. You're supposed to think critically, ask questions, gather information, and then make an informed decision. Never buy something that you don't understand. If you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, then you shouldn't buy it because you don't understand it completely. And the third thing I believe people struggle with, this is the biggest mistake, in my opinion, people are making. They're chasing a FICO score. They're chasing a bill your credit, bill your credit, bill your credit. They're chasing OPM, other people's money. They're chasing leveraging things. They're using debt for their lifestyle, funding things that they shouldn't fund. Phones, we've been funding phones now. Like, you got a payment on the phone? Why don't you just buy it with cash? Car payments, of course, a mortgage. You got boats and motorcycles. Like, everything is leveraged. I'm like, why? Because we've been sold that borrowing money is the way to live. And I'm here to tell you to stop believing the lie that borrowing money is the way to live, because it ain't. I know that's not proper English, but it ain't. It's not. Here's why. Because when you borrow money, you pay back more than you borrow, because you pay back principal plus interest. Interest is the cost that you pay. It's a penalty you pay, in my opinion, for borrowing somebody else's money, OPM. Yeah, I get a 3% loan. Yeah, it's not on 3%, but imagine if a company has millions of customers. 3% times a million people, they're making a killing off of you, and you're talking about, well, it's just 3%. Yeah, right. You plus everybody else who lined up for their loan is staying broke, all right? So I want to encourage you to think about, when you borrow money, how much is it costing you? Not now, but in the future when you pay that loan off. You get a credit card and you say, all right, they have on the statement, a pay now later, or they have something that you can pay it now and then you pay it over time, you pay the minimum. Like, bruh, sis, if you were to pay the minimum on that credit card, how long would it take to get paid off that debt? Forever. That's right, forever. And then you say, well, I'm building my credit, I'm building my points, flyer miles, or whatever you get in a t-shirt or a hat. The whole point is you're staying in debt just to chase a FICO score that doesn't even measure your wealth. Doesn't tell you how much you have saved. Doesn't tell me how much you have invested. Doesn't tell me if you own a home. It doesn't. All it tells me you borrow money and pay it back. Maybe. If you borrow money and don't pay it back, you're going to have a bad credit score. If you borrow money and pay it back a lot and often, you have a good credit score. And you're going to have a party about, yay, because I'm in debt and paying somebody money back often. I was like, think about that, y'all. How foolish do we look borrowing somebody else's money, making them rich, and us staying broke? Right. It looks foolish. So I hope these tips can help you understand that managing money doesn't have to be difficult. Keep it simple. Also, get advice that's sound and that you think about. And always understand before you buy. And lastly, stop chasing the FICO score. I know it's hard to do, but you can do it. And keep watching. I'll see you in the next video.